17 News at noon begins with breaking news.
I'm Alex Fisher. Moments ago, a guilty verdict was reached in the murder trial of Leslie Chance. 17's Amber Frias is outside the courthouse with more on that verdict and reaction from the trial. Good afternoon, Amber.
Alex, Leslie Chance has been found guilty of first-degree murder. Now, we've been following this story for a few years now since it happened. You may remember Chance, 52-year-old Chance, was accused of killing her husband in 2013 after prosecutors say she found nude pictures of an old girlfriend on his cell phone. She was accused of shooting him with his own gun in his own car and then dumping his body in an almond orchard. Prosecutors say that she then abandoned his car in a bad neighborhood, hoping it would be stolen. Chance's first trial ended in a mistrial last June before it even began when her attorney left because of a conflict of interest. Her second trial on one count of first-degree murder began with opening statements December 9th. The prosecution case relied heavily on surveillance video that showed a woman whose investigators said was Chance after the murder making her way back home. Meantime, Chance's defense attorneys argued that the evidence was flimsy and entirely circumstantial. Chance's daughters testified they did not believe that it was their mother in that surveillance video. Twice earlier this month, the judge notified jurors that Kern County Sheriff's detectives failed to disclose evidence in the case. That evidence related to interviews conducted by KCSO, which featured two witnesses who told detectives they could not identify Chance in that surveillance footage. Defense attorney Tony Lidgett argued that those who identified Chance as the woman in the video didn't like her. Assistant DA Andrea Kohler also pointed out to the jurors during the trial that Chance had no pictures of husband Todd in her office at Fairview Elementary School. However, defense countered and asked Chance when she took the stand herself about items in her office that related to her husband. Jurors in the Leslie Chance murder trial began their deliberations last Wednesday. This Monday, a juror was excused due to financial hardship. An alternate juror was brought in. Defense attorney Tony Lidgett says it has been an excruciating process for Chance. We will have a lot more tonight on 17 News at 5. We'll have a full wrap. But at this time, like I mentioned, Leslie Chance was found guilty of killing her husband.
All right. Thanks so much, Amber. And again, we just heard from the Greenfield Unified School District that released a statement moments ago regarding this verdict. Let's show you what that statement says right now. It says, like others in our community, the Greenfield Union School District has been awaiting the outcome of the trial of former principal Leslie Janae Chance, who was charged with the murder of her husband in 2016. As mandated by law, Ms. Chance has been on unpaid leave from her district employment since that time. Today, the jury entered a unanimous verdict of guilty after a jury trial that took place over the past several weeks. And again, we have just learned from this, and it goes on to say sentencing in the case will take place at a later date. The district plans to initiate the dismissal process to terminate Ms. Chance from her employment as a result of being found guilty in this case. It goes on to also say the district respects the jury trial process and will not make further comment regarding this personal matter. Again, this coming in to our newsroom about 20 minutes ago. And just a reminder that we will have continuing coverage of this verdict throughout the day. You can download our 17 News app. You can also go to our website, KGET.com, to read more about this case. And of course, we'll have more tonight on 17 News at 5. Day 2 of the question and answer session in President Trump's impeachment trial, but the spotlight is really on John Bolton and whether Republicans have the votes to block his or any witness testimony. If they do, a vote to acquit or convict the president could happen as early as tomorrow. NBC's Jennifer Johnson has more from Washington.
Senator Murray asks the House managers.
Another marathon day of questions and answers in the Senate impeachment trial and a battle over whether former National Security Advisor John Bolton will testify.
An email from last summer between Mr. Bolton, Mr. Blair. Ukrainian officials knew that President Trump had placed a hold on security assistance.
Sources are telling NBC News Republicans likely have the votes to block any new witnesses, raising the possibility the trial could be over as soon as tomorrow night.
I don't see a need for any additional witnesses. America has heard enough.
And if there are more witnesses, White House lawyers want to call their own.
I want Adam Schiff. I want Hunter Biden. I want Joe Biden. I want the whistleblower.
Democrats eager to question Bolton, whose forthcoming book, according to the New York Times, ties President Trump's decision to withhold military aid to Ukraine to an investigation of the Bidens. One White House lawyer, Alan Dershowitz, raised eyebrows and some gasped in the Senate after saying a president can't be impeached for doing something that might help him politically if he believes it's in the country's best interest.
That cannot be the kind of quid pro quo that results in impeachment.
What we have seen over the last couple of days is a descent into constitutional madness.
The president today calling Schiff in a tweet mentally deranged. 3 Republicans have expressed an interest in hearing from Bolton, but that would make it a 50-50 tie, meaning no new witnesses. Jennifer Johnson, NBC News, Washington.
And in his weekly briefing this morning, House Minority Leader and Bakersfield Congressman Kevin McCarthy said he was looking forward to the end of the impeachment trial tomorrow.
Does this rise to impeachment level? No. What the president did was not wrong. It's not impeachable. And the bipartisan vote inside the House actually proved that, going against every requirement that the Speaker set forth. And I look forward to, on Friday, this being over, and hopefully we can get back to America's business. Thank you.
McCarthy also stopped short of accusing Democrats of keeping Bernie Sanders from campaigning in Iowa by holding up the trial. Frightening moments for a local elementary school this week after a student brought a gun to class. This all happened at American Elementary School on Monday. Police say the student brought the gun to class by accident. Once they realized it was in their backpack, school officials called police. Rosedale Union school officials say the student inadvertently grabbed a family member's backpack instead of their own. All right, let's take a look at your forecast now with Kevin Charette, who is standing by the Pinpoint Weather Center. Here's a look outside from our Adventist Health camera here in downtown Bakersfield. Kind of hazy out there.
Yeah, we've got some high clouds, and we talked about that this morning. We may see some of those high clouds push through the area. Still looking at plenty of sunshine, and you can see here on our satellite, if I can get that out, brain falling asleep. You can see a few of those high clouds drifting out of the north here. Current temperature 57 degrees with no winds. I'm not expecting much wind today, just a few high clouds. And you can see the temperature rising into the 60s, back into those chilly 40s after midnight, so you'll definitely need a jacket once again tomorrow morning. We're at 50 degrees in Tehachapi right now, a northwest wind at 10. Visibility is good, and as we take a look at the numbers for this afternoon, right around 52, slipping back into those 40s throughout the evening. And we are looking at a warm weekend ahead, but then there's also a chance of rain in there as well. We'll talk more about that coming up in just a few minutes. Alex?
All right, Kev, thanks so much. Well, there was a serious tone at the State of the County dinner last night. 5th District Supervisor and Board Chair Leticia Perez gave the address. She talked about the uncertainty for Kern's energy industry. Perez dedicated nearly her entire speech to the energy industry, an industry she says Kern must fight to keep.
My friends, we have inherited one of the most difficult periods in this county's history. Kern County families working their tails off together, trying to escape the hell of poverty.
Perez also said Kern County remains committed to the environment and renewable energy. While Perez did not directly name Governor Newsom in her speech, she says to 17 News she intends to partner with the governor to find a solution to keep oil and energy here in Kern County. In your 17 Crime Watch, Bakersfield police say a woman fought off an attacker while she was jogging on the Kern River bike trail. This is a composite of the suspect. He is described as a Hispanic man, possibly in his mid-20s, around 5'9" or 10, and weighing 160 pounds. BPD says he tried to attack the woman on the bike path between Coffee Road and Callaway around 6:30 yesterday morning. But she heard him coming, and when he grabbed her, she sprayed him with pepper spray.
She was, not in a mindset where she was going to be victimized there. She was prepared. She was aware of what was going on here, and it stopped this from being something that could have been potentially so much worse. So,
here's another look at the suspect. If you recognize this man, call police at 327-7111. In our Together Inspired story, we share an update with you on a story that we brought to you yesterday. The family of a young Bakersfield girl is hoping to get her four-legged lifesaver. It is pricey, and the family turned to the community for help. And since our story aired, nearly $8,000 has been raised. Here's 17's Amber Frias with that story.
You're silent.
Marissa Carrasco's is bubbly, outgoing, and full of energy.
Disneyland.
She loves to draw and write her own stories.
What do you write about? Ponies, wolves, Guardians of the Galaxy.
But the 9-year-old hasn't had the easiest road. 2 years ago, Marissa suffered her first seizure. It lasted 5 minutes.
And she was shortly thereafter diagnosed with subcortical band heterotopia.
Now she has them every day, each one different.
It's kind of rough on me. My hands get clammy. And I feel scared when I'm not supposed to.
It's the worst thing ever. She's normally happy and bubbly and...
Medical experts say a service dog could keep Marissa safe.
On the tonic-clonic seizures, they can alert before the seizure happens because somehow they sense the change in electrical activity in the brain, and they'll get her to sit down so that she doesn't fall and hit her head. On a tonic seizure, it will go up behind her and knock her knees so that she goes to her knees before she falls, because otherwise she just kind of falls like a tree and hits the ground.
But the cost for one is something the family can't afford.
A seizure response service dog is $28,000.
The family has been fundraising through a GoFundMe. So far, they've raised around $4,000.
For her, it means some freedom that she hasn't been able to have. She can't go to the restroom by herself at, when she's 9.5 now, at like a restaurant or someplace. At school, someone has to be with her, walking with her all the time. And she has great friends, but I know sometimes that she'll come home and say, so-and-so said they needed a break today.
Amber Frias, 17 News.
And you can find a link to Marissa's GoFundMe page by heading to her website, kget.com. Just click on the link for this story. Well, next week we're teaming up with 2 firefighter foundations that keep helping long after the fires are out. Our annual Hook and Ladder Barbecue is happening next week, and we're teaming up with both the Bakersfield and County Fire Departments. For $5, you get a burger, chips, a cookie, and a water. It's a great deal. The money raised will go to 2 foundations dedicated to helping burn survivors and their families. It's all happening from 11 a.m. until 2 p.m. next Wednesday on our Compassion Corner. It's right outside our station here in downtown Bakersfield. We really hope to see you there. Well, still to come, another case of the coronavirus in the United States, and the person didn't travel to China. How this case is different from the others, and what health officials say about the threat here in the United States. All right, welcome back. It is Friday Junior out there, and we're just getting ready for the weekend, and a warm-up is on the way. Kev?
Yeah, we have some high clouds out there, as you can see on our camera network. 58 out of Wasco, Arvin 60, Fraser Park 59, and Golden Hills in the 50s as well. These high clouds will be around most of the day. We've got 50s and lower 60s into the valley, and in the mountains, we've got lower 50s out of Tehachapi. The desert areas, mid-50s, so a nice day there. As we take a look at the satellite and radar, you can see that thin layer of cloudiness that is over the area, all coming from the north. As we widen things out, we're seeing it along the coastal areas as well. Being driven in here by a ridge that's just offshore. We have a small craft advisory along the central coast. As high pressure builds on in, everything kind of remaining to the north in the short term here until about Sunday into Monday, and then we start to see a little bit of a change. But this ridge is going to help to warm us for the weekend, and here's our futurecast model heading into Sunday afternoon and evening. It brings in some rain. It tries to bring in a little bit of snow into early Monday morning as we kind of see that transition, the colder air behind it. All indications are early Monday morning, that snow level could drop to about 3,500 feet. Right now, it doesn't look like there'll be a lot of moisture content with it, but it's something we're going to keep a close eye on. And you can see for the valley, we're looking between a 10th and 1,500ths of an inch. Bakersfield about 1,600ths, and that'll be the same for the mountains and out in the desert areas as well. Lake Isabella is upward near a 1/4 of an inch of rain. Here's a look at today, though. We'll call for mostly sunny skies, a northwest wind 5 to 10. 62 out of Bakersfield along the north. Delano at 62 and 61 in Taft. Tonight will be into the 40s and a few upper 30s out there as well. Mostly sunny in the mountains. You got some high clouds, upper 50s for Fraser Park. We've got 50s out of Tehachapi and 60s into the Kern River Valley. Weldon 62, 64 out of Lake Isabella. Tonight we're looking at some 30s and 40s. And then for the desert, sunny skies and lower 60s out of Mojave. 30s will return overnight this evening. Here's a look at the extended forecast. Tomorrow, 68 degrees, 72 on Saturday, and then that chance of shower activity comes in late Sunday, lingering into early Monday. You go from 72 Saturday to the lower 50s on Monday, so a big cool down there, and then right back up for Wednesday into the upper 50s with some clouds. And then for the mountains, we'll look for mostly sunny skies through Saturday. In fact, Saturday's high, 65 degrees, and then you're in the 40s on the backside of the system on Monday with a high of only 41. Again, it'll start out as rain, and then overnight into early Monday, we may see it switch over to some snow showers. Right now, the models don't suggest any accumulated snow, but hey, that could change, and we're going to watch them carefully. And then for the Kern River Valley, we're going to warm up here. Saturday, 74 degrees, and then that cool down once again. You go from 74 on Saturday to only upper 40s on Monday. Chance of rain and upper elevation snow for you late Sunday into Monday. We're also going to be a little bit on the breezy side as well. And then you go from 48 Monday back near 60 on Wednesday up in the Kern River Valley. So a little bit of a change on the way, but a nice change for Saturday. Get outside and enjoy it. Super Bowl Sunday. A little bit of a change.
Yeah, will that be the first day of February? Yeah, the first day of February, right? So
Super
not
Bowl
too
Sunday.
bad to start February.
Yeah, unfortunately, January is going to be drier than what we've seen the past 5 years.
Yeah,
so
that's unfortunate. Yeah. All right, thanks, Kev. Yep. All right, well, the first human-to-human transmission of the coronavirus has been confirmed here in the U.S. This marks the 6th confirmed case here in the United States, and the second one in Chicago. According to the CDC, the new patient is the husband of the woman who originally contracted the virus after traveling to Wuhan, China. The man who had not traveled to China is in the hospital in isolation and is said to be in good condition. His wife is still hospitalized and is said to be stable. Health officials still say the threat to the general public remains low. Meantime, the first American evacuees from China are now in voluntary quarantine at a military base down to our south, with the next evacuation already being planned. New cases and deaths trigger more fears over just how quickly this virus is spreading. NBC's Janice Mackey-Freyer has more from Beijing.
This morning, more Americans getting out of Wuhan. The State Department announcing another flight next week, like the airlift yesterday that returned 200 Americans to the U.S. But more than 700 are still stuck, like Doug Perez, whose girlfriend isn't a U.S. citizen, so she can't come with him.
And quite frankly, I couldn't live with myself if I left my girlfriend and my dog at ground zero of a global pandemic while I escape. I can't do that.
Don't get too close. But for Priscilla Dickey and her daughter, it's a lifeline. They were turned away for the last flight, but are hoping this one can get them home.
Just all the stress is gone, will be gone, and we won't feel alone anymore.
The coronavirus is spreading more rapidly here in days than SARS did over months. The mysterious virus now reaching at least 18 countries, including the Philippines and India, and in some cases showing up in people who've never been to China. Experts worry the estimated number of cases, nearly 8,000 now, is actually underreported because of a shortage of testing kits and doctors still learning to diagnose it.
More international airlines are cutting flights to and from mainland China, and Russia has announced it will close its Far East border in order to keep the coronavirus out. There is the sense that the country is being cut off, but nobody is sure whether the restrictions will actually work. Janice Mackey-Freyer, NBC News, Beijing.
All right, when we come back, we'll take a look at your business news.
KGET Business Watch is brought to you by Grapevine MSP Technology Services, the Valley's leading IT service provider.
Back now in your 17 Business Watch, and kind of an interesting day on Wall Street. The Dow Jones right now is up 13 points. It's in the green for the first time today since actually really being in the red for most of the morning. So it is rebounding, erasing those losses from earlier today. So that's the good news. The S&P 500 has no change, and NASDAQ is up 1. So again, a very interesting day on Wall Street. We'll have closing numbers coming up tonight at 5. Meantime, checking oil prices, West Texas Intermediate is at $52.68 a barrel, and Midway Sunset is at $57.08 a barrel. With the Super Bowl around the corner, millions are getting their plans together for Sunday's game. But how much are people spending as they get ready to watch? The National Retail Federation has released its annual Super Bowl survey, and nearly 194 million people are expected to tune in for the face-off between the Chiefs and the 49ers. The survey has been conducted for more than a decade, and this year's spending is on track to be the highest ever for a Super Bowl. An estimated $17.2 billion. But despite all that money being spent, only 19% of viewers are planning to throw a party, and 27% are planning to attend one. So, where's the rest of this money being spent? 80% of Super Bowl purchases are expected to be for food and drinks. That makes sense. The rest will go toward team apparel, new TVs, decorations, and furniture. Putting a stop to the rumors. Still ahead, NBC's Days of Our Lives announces plans for their future. The big news about the show coming up. Welcome back. It appears sands will continue falling through the hourglass. NBC has announced its daytime drama Days of Our Lives has been renewed for a 56th season. This all comes after reports began circulating late last year. The show was on the verge of cancellation. Days of Our Lives is NBC's longest-running scripted series, following the lives of the Brady, Horton, and DeMira families in the fictional Midwestern town of Salem. The show's been around since 1965 and has won 57 Emmy Awards through the years, including Best Daytime Drama in 2018. All right, well, it is the season of Girl Scout cookies, and when we come back, one Girl Scout took selling the famous cookies to a whole new level. We'll explain coming up.
Welcome back. A 7-year-old Girl Scout in West Virginia took cookie selling to a whole new level.
I like this story. It's really neat. The group says Rory Clark from Morgantown sold Girl Scout cookies in each of the 50 states. It's pretty impressive, isn't it? She used social media and her own website to reach customers across the country. Family and friends did help her along the way. Rory was inspired by a class project that encouraged students to receive a postcard from each state. And to achieve her goal, she used a map and checked off one state after another as she made progress. And Rory says it really made her day when she finally reached her goal. Scout leaders say she has sold close to 700 boxes of cookies.
Wow,
what a neat story, too.
Yeah.
All 50 states. It's a pretty cool accomplishment.
Very cool.
All right, well, that is all for us here at noon. We will see you back here tonight for 17 News at 5, but we will resume that NBC News special report on the impeachment trial of President Trump.
17 News, your local news leader, continues 24 hours a day on KGET.com and our 17 News app. In the spirit of the Golden Empire, 17 News.